Fix that. Now we're offline on everything. No, we were not. We're back.
Troubleshooting.
All right, now it's fixed. It just gave me a hiccup there. It was weird. My whole dashboard was like, we're not online or anything. But now it says we're good. You guys ready?
Okay.
Actually starting at 7? I can't believe this.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 356 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and Mario Super Smash Football podcast. This is, gentlemen, I have found our esport. This is how we're going to make our name in game streaming, lore, and history. We'll forever be known as the Paramount Super Mario Smash Football. Did he say Smash? Are they going to start streaming Smash? Super Mario Smash Football stream on Twitch and YouTube.
Ooh, we could do some Smash.
I'm not very good at Smash.
You don't have to be good. It just has to be it's fun.
We could
put each other on teams.
Yeah, we could
Whoever's
do
the best. Whoever's the best can be put on their own separate team, and then they have to fight
up against 2 or 30 people.
Yeah,
or go up against super hard NPCs.
Yeah.
Mark's Knight and I got.
There's ways we can make it fun.
Mark's Knight and I got so good at the N64 when we were playing level 9 CPUs all the time. Load them in there. Tonight's news: we have your July Game Pass games. Nintendo raising price on the Switch? Question mark. What PlayStation game is going to Xbox? Another question mark. Find out later. And this is worse than we thought. Xbox layoffs. That can't be good news. Delivering that bad news is one of your hosts, myself, Richard Bergman. Joined tonight by the person who built the bad news, Brent McKee. Brent, you didn't plan the bad news. So this is not on you.
No, but I didn't start us out with bad news.
You didn't. We're going to build up to that.
Just going to build up to it, and then we can leave it behind and go into our fun games we played.
And we will be doing so. Brent, did you have a great weekend? You had a long weekend.
Yes. I'll even continue to have a long weekend as I take the next day off.
Oh, even better.
I thought ahead.
Yeah, that's not bad. Also joining us, our resident lore master and soundboard master, Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello.
Cesar, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. There it is. We got some Kokiri in the background. Not Kokiri, those are the forest people. Koroks. This is the new lore.
Koroks.
Yeah, let me swap my headphones real quick.
You can't hear a snare. Where's his snare?
Tried to do that super fast. Did it work well?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody noticed.
I think it was that in-ear thing. I couldn't. It's like popping nonstop. I couldn't take that. Cesar, how has your long holiday weekend been? Celebrating this, our independence from Britain, in which a bunch of angry people who didn't want to pay tariffs revolted against the country they had to pay tariffs to.
Specifically on
we're getting deep in the American lore here.
He got the hardest.
Who did?
The tea got the hardest.
Mm-hmm. Drinking green tea. I don't know if this is the appropriate type of tea to have this weekend. I don't think it is.
What do they do? They end up swapping to coffee. That's how coffee became a U.S. staple.
Really? That was the catalyst? That was the driving factor?
That was one of them.
No,
I mean, because they swapped to another, caffeinated drink that wasn't being taxed.
Yeah. We threatened last week that we would be playing the non-American football game on July 4th. We pretty much did. So we'll go into that when we get down to games played. I was thinking of outside of there's Assassin's Creed 3, I think, is like Independence era, isn't it? Brent, you gonna barrel into that one next?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation.
Liberation around the same. That's the Louisiana one, right?
I maybe I don't remember.
Female assassin, female protagonist.
Yes, it's a female.
Liberation is, yeah.
I have it for Vita, but somebody sent me an offer. I don't have that America's collection on PS3. There's a billion collections on PS3, and one of them has 3 and Liberation on there. And I think one other title.
That one on Switch does too, and I think they brought it up to PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah.
One.
Xbox Uno. Or we could play Liberty or Death, the Koei game for Super Nintendo. Play some strategy. I'm sure I'm missing a July 4th-ish game in there somewhere.
Metal Wolf Chaos.
That is it's a very American game. Metal Wolf Chaos. Oh, people watching the show did not think that Metal Wolf Chaos was going to pop up in this reference in this show. Richard, that's President Richard, right? Richard, or that's the antagonist.
I think Richard is an antagonist. Yeah, that was like him screaming in the White House, Richard
in the White House. Metal Wolf Chaos, we famously were supposed to get for Xbox and never did. It was on a demo disc. It's an unlockable on a demo disc. So I've played Metal Wolf Chaos on original hardware, but then we got it ported to everything. 3 or 4 years ago? Xbox One, PS4. PC,
yeah, Devolver, I think, came back and licensed it from give it to their company, and they brought it back. So
yeah, just an insane game. Just
don't have a copy of it. I think it's part of the Steam Summer Sale right now for $12.99 on PC. Ooh. It's normally $30, so it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that might be a good get. I feel like I got it in one of the bundles at some point.
Which is weird, because I did not have it. So
you didn't have it yet?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have it on, I think, PS4 and maybe Xbox somehow.
Yeah, I think I have PS4 as well. Speaking of the Steam Summer Sale, has anyone's wallets been affected?
No.
I got a couple things. I didn't get anything major.
I don't think anything on there like dropped to historic lows. Unfortunately, stuff that I was looking for was lower the week before the sale, and then I was like, I'll wait till the sale, and then it was actually $3 more, and I was like, I should have jumped on it last week.
Yeah.
You're always scared of those pre-week sales. Yeah.
I noticed that a lot too. There's a lot of stuff on sale before, and it's way cheaper.
Or somebody does a one-off, like Square Enix did a sale the week before, and then you're rolling the dice like, what do I need right now that may or may not be? I think Trials of Mana was one of those I was looking at, but I think it ended up being $20 no matter what. But I still got to get through the demo. It's like I haven't even played through the demo yet. There seems to be plenty of content in that. I got like 2 hours in that demo. It doesn't end.
Yeah,
long game.
It is. Even the demo.
It was a meaty Super Nintendo game. So
it's a meaty recreation of that Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, it was faithful to the source.
Yeah. Yeah, I had in my cart like Splinter Cell Blacklist, and there's one other. I think the original Splinter Cell I didn't have on Steam. But I read it's a nightmare to try to get those up and running. It was just kind of like throw it in the backlog and see if some like compatibility layer kicks in. But I've got Blacklist on like 3 other platforms. It's one of those I don't have to pick up right now. I talked myself out of a couple games already, but
I do that a lot too. Try to look at it subjectively. If I'm like, am I going to play this now? If it's more than like $10.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I do it now. If it's like super cheap, like 10 or less, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I think that was a couple things that I had in the cart that I think I spent $20. However, the buy 2 get 1 free from Target this week on 4K Blu-rays absolutely destroyed me this morning. I spent some good money on some 4K Blu-rays this morning. Pretty much everything that you can get from Target, movies, music, and books is buy 2 get 1. Amazon matched. I think I was talking to Cesar about this. Amazon matched, but their 4K Blu-ray selection was like 30 films, I think, 30 or 40. It wasn't.
They're bad about that. Yeah, it's not a one-for-one deal. It's always from a pool of suspected hits, and that can be hit or miss sometimes.
It wasn't. And then I'm looking, and it's like some of them are not from Amazon. They're from like third-party sellers. I don't think I'm gambling with this. Get some googly eyes in the mail. Like somebody got from was it Best Buy that you guys sent me that Reddit post?
Yeah, I think that was the first one I've seen because like I haven't seen too many Best Buys, and then that thread started. Like I found the guy's like I finally got hit for Best Buy, and his was just an empty case. It was
Yeah, it
resealed.
was empty.
But they
So-
also got that shipping package, so that was taken out like in transit. It wasn't done. It seems like a lot of the shady ones are like manufacturing.
And
They
then I
come-
think somebody had some like you to your credit, like you said, somebody had went in there and said they had gotten a googly eye one from Best Buy as well, where it was resealed, and then they had to go to the store and had a fight to return it, and then they were able to return it, and then they made sure to open it in said store before they left at the customer service. So
I might start opening my games in store. I don't remember the last time I bought a game in a store though. The last time you guys did
Been a minute.
that? I mean,
I think
Brant
it's
just
such a easy
So-
crime, right? So
because everything's e-commerce and it's being shipped to us.
yeah,
Yeah, Brant's gonna
And
talk about
so-
some games he just picked up, but they were, it was like used games from many years ago, so it wasn't the same thing as. Oh, you also had a shipping woe that you're gonna cover later, I think. I gotta open these 4K
I
Blu-rays
might,
too.
I don't know.
Cesar, have you seen anything on threads about those getting rated or swapped out with garbage ones or anything?
it tends to be the games ones because I guess the resale value on those are a lot more
Yeah.
easier to do up front versus a Blu-ray, which you don't have a movie stop anymore. So it's like or
God, I miss movie stops. Oh my God.
Stuff-
Brad, do
stuff
you
where
remember
can,
movie stop?
get in there.
I do not remember
Oh.
Movie Stop. The fuck's a Movie Stop?
Cesar, where did we go to that one? It was like near us. It was near
Mall,
us
Georgia.
H Mart.
It's a mall, Georgia, by a Best Buy right outside there. For a while, you could use your Gamers Club Unlocked, remember, and then they sold them off because
Yep.
it was part of the GameStop family. It was like
Yep.
a small little test thing they were doing when Barnes and Nobles owned them, I believe.
Yep, because my discount at the very end worked at Barnes and Noble as well. Brant, it was just used movies. It was a dedicated movie stop. But
Yeah.
for a long time, that was the best way to get Blu-rays, like cheap before they were super expensive. We would hit that Fry's up there too, right? We would go up there at Fry's and look at the Blu-rays and then stop in a movie stop.
Yeah, because then I remember they closed down that Fry's. It was like it all kind of
Damn.
digressed
Man, Fry's back in
rather
the day.
quickly.
Fry's was import DS games. We got like that Shonen Jump Superstars Smash game that is so fucking good still.
Yeah, there's two of them. It's like you had Jump Superstars and Jump Ultimate Stars. I ended up getting both. So
I think I just have one of those. We would go there and get import games and then duck into the movie stop. Damn. And Fry's. Fry's had all sorts
over there
of
by
stuff.
by the mall, Georgia, we killed.
Mhm. I want to say I got the Patriot from there, like one of those early reference quality Blu-rays. Like you gotta see the Patriot on Blu-ray. I think that was one of them. Brent, you would have dug Movie Stop. It was good shit. And I feel like they always had buy two get one, right? Or is that when we went?
Yeah,
Cesar?
it
We went
was-
for the buy two get ones.
Yeah, it was similar. They had similar sales like used games, like buy two get ones and stuff like that. Because I bought that's when Blu-rays first came out. I bought a lot of used Blu-rays from there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did the same. All right, let's get into this news. Stop waxing poetically about retailers of lore of yore.
Yeah.
Phone's going off nonstop. July Game Pass games. This comes from Megan Spur. Thank you, Megan. Oh, there's Trials of Mana. Wish my save transfer would move over. Hold on, I'm skipping ahead. Console only. Damn it. I need that PC one. Well, if I've been playing the Steam demo, would that transfer over if I bought it on? It's not on the Windows Store, right? That's how I would play it on PC if they came out on Game Pass
I think
PC.
it's Game Pass. You have to look for the Xbox Anywhere.
Okay.
And I think that's where I think Microsoft is versus they stated in the past versus doing, physical copies. They're more on that realm of moving everything to that.
So what would I do? Just dig around it's in a file somewhere, right? Just grab the save out of my Steam library somewhere and transfer that to the Xbox PC. Has anybody encountered this before?
Mm-mm.
I think there's like a Denuvo on there for protection.
I'm sorry, it's like a very specific fever dream that I may encounter at some point.
But
I'd rather know, right?
It may not play because it does do a file check to make sure it's not going to be it's not the same save file. Otherwise, people will be doing it all the time. So
And just transferring cheats back and forth and uploading them.
Right.
Mm,
I mean, I know you don't care about the cheat part. I know
Right.
that's you don't give a damn about the achievements at all. I get that part, but they're quick to ban people for monkeying around in that
Yeah.
world. So
it looks like
you could get your Xbox account banned. So that means all your stuff
not
you
worth the
purchased
risk.
throughout the years.
I'm not that far in. I could start it over if I wanted to. Here we go. Let's go over this list. Little Nightmares 2 for cloud console and PC. Rise of the Tomb Raider for cloud console and PC. Does that give us the 360 version as well, or just the Xbox One version of Rise of the Tomb Raider? That's a miracle port. Go out there and look at some footage of Rise of the Tomb Raider running on 360, or fire it up on your 360 if you have one. It kind of shouldn't have happened, and it looks really, really good. And there's some artistic decisions with what they had to do with that hardware that looks better in some cases than what we got for Xbox One and PS4. You know, it's not running at the same resolution and frame rate and all that, but it's a very, very impressive version of that game. That's not the one you're getting that I'm talking about. You're going to get Rise of the Tomb Raider, Xbox One for cloud console and PC. Coming soon. This will be as of July 2nd, so as of this recording, you're good to go. Legend of Mana for console, which is now with Game Pass Standard. That's what I was wondering. Like, I thought these were already on Game Pass. Are they just returning, or is this just like the filter down of the Game Pass Standard tier?
I think it's just Game Pass Standard.
Mix of both, maybe.
Core. You gotta be careful because sometimes it goes to core, and you're like, oh, I thought this was already there.
Yeah. And the aforementioned Trials of Mana. Legend of Mana is the PS1 game. As Cesar reiterated, Trials of Mana is the within the past 5 years they remade a Super Nintendo game in a new 3D style, but it's still very much the Super Nintendo title running underneath there. But it's a very faithful recreation of that. It's funny. This was Seiken Densetsu 3 was like the one we would never get, and then we got it in Collection of Mana, and we also got it in this Trials of Mana form. I paid for, I have another repro cart. It's one of my only 2 reproduction carts that I have. I have Trials of Mana on Super Nintendo. I have a cartridge I can pop in the system and play. The other one I got is BS Zelda, the Satellaview Zelda build. It's like a port. It's like a Super Nintendo port of the original Legend of Zelda. Very bare bones, very basic version of that Zelda game. Ultimate Chicken Horse is coming to cloud console and PC July 3rd. That's to all Game Pass tiers. I kind of hate that we have to break out all these different Game Pass tiers. It used to just be one. And it would either be cloud or console or PC, right? Now it's cloud, console, or PC, and then standard and core and all that crap Cesar was talking about. The Ascent, I've been meaning to play this one. It's a co-op shooter RPG. That's coming to Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. Miami Lane is coming to Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass. The big one, I would say. Brand, are you more excited about this one than anything?
Yeah, probably. It was a little annoying to. So I forgot to mention it last week. I did play the demo of this.
I didn't know it was a demo out.
There is a demo. They announced it sometime last month. The problem is you have to pre-purchase the game in order to get the demo.
What?
Yes.
Weird.
A demo.
But you're pre-purchasing the Game Pass game, right?
Yeah. A demo is meant to encourage you to buy the product. This is a perk of buying the product as you get the demo. But of course, I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, so you can go ahead and download the demo. But if you were to look on Steam or the PlayStation Store, it is under the purchase. So you have to buy the game in order to play one level of the game with only 2 characters to choose from.
Of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. We're deep into this.
Yes.
This is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4.
But it feels good, and it's 3 and 4. It's got those nostalgic tracks and the feel of Tony Hawk games, and it'll be great that this got a remake, and hopefully we'll continue to get quality remakes out of this. Get
What
the
will be
Underground
next?
series next.
I was about to say, is it Underground from here? The Thug games? Maybe a Thug collection with the PSP ones included, because those were highly regarded too.
Yeah, those weren't bad. I remember
Thug Remix, I think.
Having a good time with. Which one was it? I think it was number 2. I remember playing
it's an
that
orange
one
cover
on PSP.
I almost feel like our PSP launch sales were 1-to-1 with that Tony Hawk game included. I feel like every single one we sold a copy of that Tony Hawk game.
It was a really good port on the go.
A killer app right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
I might be biased too because my assistant manager at the time, shout out to a friend of the show, Thomas. I think he got just about every game out of that launch library. I know he got Wipeout. I know he got Hot Shots. I know he got Luminous. That's where the Lumines joke came from. My manager called it Lumines. He's like, they blow up. They're mines. I was like, I don't know. Maybe he's onto something. But I always heard it called Luminous. Yeah, he got everything right there at launch. The Spider-Man 2 movie. Spider-Man. That was impressive watching that whole movie in on that widescreen PSP. That was way ahead of its time. God, I miss the PSP. Might have to break it out. Speaking of PSPs, Buish is in the chat. He says, got Little Nightmares downloading right now. He's going to be playing some Little Nightmares soon. Buish, that's a good B-hole corner game. Buish likes to get stuff he wants to throw into the show as a B-hole corner. Buish's B-hole corner. So it's just, I guess, random stuff he's found and wants to play and talk about. Maybe we get some B-hole corner contributions down the road. Howlin' Life is coming to Game Pass again, I'm thinking. They're not mentioning that anymore.
Yeah, I remember it being on there and leaving. So
it launched in Game Pass, if I'm correct on that one. B-hole corner. That's coming to Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. Maybe it's just returning and being sent to the lower tier. And Retro Classics celebrating 1 million players. I think I downloaded it. Cesar talked about it briefly on the stream or on the show. Brant, did you check this one out yet?
Mm-mm.
They're adding new games, but we all know the real gem here is River Raid. There's no need to go for anything outside of River Raid. Carol Shaw's on River Raid. So what's new? The recently added games, according to Megan Spur, is Cosmic Commuter, Heart of China, Skiing, Solar Storm, and Subterranea. Be on the lookout for new tournaments, community challenges, and even more games soon. There are DLC updates for Diablo 4, Pal World, and you're going to get in-game benefits for Mecha Break, Splitgate 2, Asphalt Legends Unite, and you're going to get perks for 3-on-3 Freestyle, EA Sports UFC 5. And last but not least, leaving Game Pass July 15th, Flock, Mafia Definitive Edition, Magical Delicacy, Chia, The Callisto Protocol, and The Case of the Golden Idol. That's weird with Mafia leaving. Isn't the Mafia Old Country, aren't they like building up to that? Wouldn't you want that to stay in the catalog?
Yeah, so.
Maybe it's just a FOMO thing, or they can remove it for a month and then re-announce it coming back to the service right before that one. Yeah, I need to catch up on these Mafias.
It's Rockstar, man. They tend to move their own beat when they go in and out of these Plus and Game Pass services.
They still have the Mafias? They don't have the...
Yeah, it's 2K.
Oh, it is 2K. You're right. They're under the same umbrella. I'm intrigued by that Mafia Old Country.
They're always erratic. I mean, Mafia Old Country is supposed to be a AA game, and they're not shy from saying that. So
it looks so good, though. Like, it looks like...
No, that's the whole point. They're like,
yeah.
if you want AA games, like everybody's claiming, then this is the one you need to buy. It's on the physical copy too. You know, it's a lot of things they check off on the box here. So
when is this coming out? I might need to plan to get this one physical.
August. Okay, but it's a prequel, so it's not like you have to have no knowledge of the first 3. It doesn't matter.
I may go ahead and do that. I may support that and get that physical one. I want them to make more games like this. Straight up looks like The Godfather 2. Part 2, the first one when he gets into the old country, as it were. All right, someone tell me about these Nintendo Switch price increases. And are we happy we already have our Nintendo Switches in place and another year of Nintendo Switch Online, which I owe money for still?
We definitely are. So this is from Andy Robinson, Video Games Chronicle. Nintendo is raising prices, specifically in Canada and specifically on Nintendo Switch. That's right, the original Nintendo Switch, not Nintendo Switch 2. This includes things like the regular Switch, the OLED, the Switch Lights, physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, as well as Nintendo Switch accessories, including things like the Amiibo, the online membership, and of course, they say there's going to be no increase on Nintendo Switch 2 accessories or software.
We've already had that, right? Or Canada got it too.
Yeah.
Accessories, everybody got it for accessories.
Yeah.
The pricing information will be shared more on the Nintendo Canada website on August 1st. And then it goes into a lot of this is part of like the trade wars still going on between US and Canada and things like that. So, but it's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's crazy that, it's regressive now. It's, going to, we're so used to, okay, well now the older hardware, we should start seeing it get discounted.
Yeah.
But now it's seeing more increase.
Yeah.
I think somebody had figured it out where you can see the new pricing, and when you renew your subscription, it tells you like next year you're going to be charged X amount of dollars is what they were showing on the Canadian store. So they had already kind of leaked out what the new NSO prices were going to be. So
if someone listening was part of a family subscription and they were locked in for the next year, would it be worthwhile for them and the rest of the family members to maybe purchase another year? Can you go out 2 years at the current rate? Would that be worthwhile?
We can't stack.
Okay.
We can't stack.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. That's answered.
Yeah, Nintendo hasn't figured out how to stack subscriptions.
Can we purchase?
Or maybe they just don't want to.
At retail, can we buy a 12-month thing, or is there a risk it could end up getting prorated?
They don't sell cards for those family.
I'm trying to get around this. Trying to get around this shit.
I think they sell the cards for it, but like when you look at the cards, it says something is like this is for a new subscription. Like you can't use it on current like rolling subscriptions, which is ridiculous. But I guess that's their way of also getting around that. They don't want people just to buy card after card after card, and then just in case they go up on the price.
Yeah, and then they're not locked into somebody benefiting from whatever they want to add to that model for the next 3 or 4 years or whatever they built it out to, which we kind of did when they announced Game Pass. We all converted our subscriptions, right? And we were built out for like 3 or 4 years. I know Cesar and I were at least. Yeah,
I did the same for my PSN Plus. I got 3 years out. I haven't paid for anything for 3 years. So.
That's right. You had Plus and PlayStation Now, right? The streaming one. We just calling it nursing services. Yep, I got to pay for my nurse's services. Oh, is that it? Is a Canadian confirmation is all we have so far?
Yeah, so far.
I mean, something's going to get raised soon because I think the U.S. has signed a deal with Vietnam to do 20% tariffs going forward. So you're going to see 20% increase on Switch 2s probably shortly.
I was about to say they had just moved a lot of manufacturing to Vietnam, right?
To Vietnam, yep. So I think you should see a 20% increase on the hardware and other accessories that are made there. So
I guess we're thankful we all jumped when we did, right? We complained about it at the time, and now it's about to get worse. Potentially. Something that's not worse. Go ahead.
What's another $100 on the Switch 2? What's another $100?
Yeah. At least we have them. We have them. We're good. Are they readily available? I check the local Walmart every once in a while. Or anytime I'm there, I swing by the Switch cases. And there's no Switch 2 systems. Like, I've yet to see one in the wild. Have you guys?
I haven't yet.
I also, I look at the same collection of physical games. Like, when are we going to get that next wave of announcement of support and, things coming, right? Donkey Kong is it. This kind of feels like GameCube type shit.
They haven't done their summer show yet, so remember... This is still kind of like their spring thing. So summer we're well into summer now, a couple weeks in, or at least a weekend, almost 2.
You're
but
right.
It seems like it's still early. I mean, I imagine we'll get a direct sometime this month.
Yeah.
After the Donkey Kong comes out.
I mean, honestly, their first party support is, like you said, Richard, it's not really there at the moment. Like they've got a bunch of third party, but a lot of people are staying away from them because of that whole game key card thing so far.
We read about that 2 weeks ago.
But we had the two Zeldas got re-released, and then Mario Kart World. Then we have Donkey Kong. Then we have Drag Drive coming out, and I guess up next would be later in the month. We got the updates for Mario Party Jamboree, and I think Kirby is coming out later this month. Oh, it's next month.
Kirby is next month.
But those are just DLC locked behind a Switch 2 paywall. Like,
welcome to the PlayStation PS4 to PS5 era of gaming.
Yep,
feels like it, right?
Pretty much what they did. Here's your same old game from last gen with some new added features and better looks.
That did happen. Yeah, I want to see something from a show, just some more something. Or give us more GameCube games. We're playing the most recent GameCube game. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Give us more of that random shit.
I would kill for them to give the keys to Sega and get a Dreamcast on there. So,
ooh,
now we're talking.
Ooh,
Virtua Tennis,
really good.
Virtua Tennis stream.
That's all Richard cares about.
Theoretically, they could do a Saturn one, but I see them having more luck getting a Dreamcast one in there. So.
Yeah.
Just like popularity wise or technically?
I think just coding wise, probably.
Yeah.
Hey, they already have that Saturn emulator. I mean, technically they have one of the Saturn tribute games that are 100% run through whatever emulation.
Whatever build.
Because people were monkeying around with that in the first Switch and plugging different titles in there, and they just worked.
Yeah, the Cotton Games.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hopefully they found those people and put that into like full production mode. We need this. Get this added.
I think the most concerning thing is that the most concerning thing outside of that would just be the licensing, right? So I mean, there's Saturn one wouldn't be too many games on there. It'd be nice. Some important ones probably like Panzer Dragoon, but it wouldn't be too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I completely forgot to put that in news, but we do have somebody that's working to make their greatest life achievement the revival of Sega. So, maybe we see a big Sega resurgence.
What was that quote? Maybe you can find that real fast and throw it in there.
It was in our chat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It says it's in it.
Life achievement. I mean, anybody would say that going into that position, right? I'm here to drive Sega into the ground.
No, the other one's that
maybe just because it's a pure commitment.
The other one was that tweet from Genki where he talked about that president started off in PlayStation, helped launch the PlayStation. Then they got poached by Sega, and he helped launch the Dreamcast. Then he got poached by some other place, and then he went to Kingdom Hearts, helped launch Kingdom Hearts. Then went back to Sega again, and that's where he's been at. So
this is the same guy?
Same guy, yep.
Wow.
He helped launch the PlayStation, and then he got poached by Sega to do that same thing with the Dreamcast. He helped launch the Dreamcast, and then did Kingdom Hearts. I sent you all in that tweet in that thread. So
yep,
that's a prolific career, and kind of strange to be jumping around all those different companies.
So what we're talking about, we can't get his name right now. I can probably look it up, but essentially he's the current president of Sega, where he said he wants them to keep it weird, basically. He wants them to keep trying new things, but not forget about the past. You know, he wants to have that development from like the late 80s, early 90s Sega, where they took chances and stuff that we don't really see that much that often. So, yeah. I think we've been seeing it very much with the Like a Dragon or the Gaten Studio, where they've tried different stuff. They're not making Yakuza sequels every 5, like yearly 2026 or 2027 versions. I mean, we have the Taisho era one that's coming out. You know, they have the turn-based RPG one that was a April Fool's joke that they kind of ran with and made it into a full game. It's like they're experimenting, and that stuff's been paying off. So
weird Sega's best Sega.
And so now we saw that, we do have Crazy Taxi coming soon, and Just Set Radio and Shinobi, and, some other ones that they're just kind of like, Shinobi's, I think, is the first one out of that batch they announced, 2 years ago at the Game Awards when they had that Sega commercial, like all these classics coming back. So Shinobi's that first one out there. We'll see how it does. So
it looks good. It looks faithful.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to support that.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Weird Sega is best Sega.
Yeah.
Just like Nintendo with their crazy shit. We want to see some crazy Nintendo stuff. Next up in news, PlayStation hit Helldivers 2 is officially coming to Xbox with crossplay. This comes from Jordan Middler at VGC.com. Crossplay with all 3 platforms has been confirmed. The co-op shooter released on PS5 and PC last year is coming to Xbox. Friend of the show, Mark's Knight, potentially could have waited. I just realized that. We were talking to Buish about he waited it out long enough. It came to Xbox. He didn't have to buy a PlayStation, but I think that's all Mark's Knight has ever played on his PlayStation. Gosh. I gave him Ratchet and Clank, so
I think he's gotten around to like, I'm gonna eventually play some of these PS4 games. So I think he's probably it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But I foresee him just buying that game.
He's gotten his time out of it
on Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, he may do that as well. The game will feature cross-platform play with users on both PlayStation and PC. Both the standard version of the game and the Super Citizen edition of the game are now available to pre-order on Xbox. It's what, $39.99 and $59.99 for the Super Citizen?
That's correct.
We know gamers have been asking for this for some time, and we are so excited to bring more Helldivers into our game, said game director Mikael Eriksson. There's another quote. Helldivers 2 was Sony's biggest hit of last year, becoming PlayStation's fastest-selling game launch ever. I don't think I read that news. I don't remember that being that big of a success. Wow. With 12 million copies sold across PC and PS5 in its first 12 weeks. I wonder if we'll get the whole, because when you launch Helldivers, it goes through that like Marvel cinematic intro with the PlayStation Studios thing. I wonder if they'll do that.
Didn't they get it with MLB The Show? I think they do get that.
Does that one do that as well?
I believe so.
Okay. So that comes out August
the 26th,
the same date that Gears of War comes out on PlayStation. Yes, bring more of this stuff. I want to see more of these types of things. This is good all around for everyone. I like this a lot.
I mean, it makes 100% makes sense, right? You need a good player base if you want these games to take off, right? I mean, the whole point of a gas game, and I think Sony's starting to learn that now, is that you can't keep that exclusive to one console, because then there's not even enough consoles out there, enough people playing on those consoles to keep that game alive for their reason. I mean, Helldivers at some point is going to come to Switch, right? It's going to come to Switch 2. It's going to come to everything. It's going to do what it can to build a player base to keep going. So
they've seen how successful it was on PC and PS5.
So you can buy, because what they want people to do is buy those super credits, even though you don't have to, but they want people to buy those super credits to buy those expansions.
Cosmetic.
Yeah, so. And it's not dirty because they give you a way to earn them if you play it. You play the game a lot, you can get super credits, right? So
if you play a lot.
If you play a lot, you got to play a lot. But it's there, so.
For some reason,
like their first big gas game that they actually did well on.
It took off. Yeah. Came out of nowhere. Like, I remember you telling us about it. We'd seen it in the shows, but you told us about it. You picked it up and we're playing it. And was like, they're onto something here, guys. Y'all might want to check this out.
Here you go, Richard. I found the tweet before I forget again. So his previous career highlights was he helped launch PlayStation at Sony, launched Dreamcast at Sega, helped launch Kingdom Hearts at Disney, and then he founded Q Entertainment with Tetsuya Mizuguchi and made Lumines and Meteos with him.
And Dylan Cuthbert's in on the Q games too, right? Star Fox creator.
Yeah.
And Gunpei, I think that's one of their productions. Meteos is good. I forget about Meteos sometimes. Then they made like a Disney Meteos too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm more likely, I don't know if you guys work the same way too, especially if something's cross-play. But I'm more likely to support one of these other type titles on another platform. Like I bought Helldivers 2 for PC. I knew I would end up playing some on PC as well. But when I get a copy, like say Gears of War Reloaded, I'm going to get that for Xbox Series, and I know it's going to work on PC, right? I'm going to support that PS5 one because now I have I'm not buying it for that thing already. They're just going to upgrade my copy. So I have a way to get that on another platform. And I feel like when that pops up from time to time, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably more likely to spend that money and get it on another platform. I do wish the cross progression worked. Did they mention anything about that in here? Because that's kind of one of the.
I think with Gears, I think it's only with. Are you talking about Gears or
Helldivers? Talking about Helldivers. I'm sorry, I pivoted back to Helldivers.
I think crossplay. I think that does progression. It's like, well, no, you're right. You're right.
Didn't,
PC doesn't carry over on PC. Yeah,
it didn't when we played.
Hopefully
on PC.
they fix that. Hopefully they fix that.
I mean, that's an immediate game changer too. Especially if you have people that just play on Xbox.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I just everything was cutting out, like in and out. It's weird. But I think it was just this headphone side of it. Last but not least, what do we got? Oh, God. The bad news.
That's the bad news part from GameSpot from Eddie Mock. I slaughtered his name. I apologize.
I think that's Makooch.
We're just going to call him Eddie. From Eddie, Microsoft announced mass layoffs July 2nd, impacting many areas of the company. Overall, said to be cutting 4% of the staff worldwide, affecting 9,000 people. And the company currently employs over 200,000.
9,000 jobs.
So the exact number from Xbox is not known, but some of that stuff will be trickling in as they go through. There's still stuff trickling in that, that were outliers that were affected. That kind of like a collateral damage, kind of like John Romero's company, who was working on an exclusive game for Microsoft.
That was a weird one. Yeah.
Their funding pulled. So I mean, we're probably going to see a lot more of those because I think we only found out about that because a disgruntled employee, right? So John Romero never said who or what. One of the employees says, "Yeah, it was Microsoft cut our funding. That's why." So, and everybody's speculating on Contraband being canceled or not. That was that one from Avalanche that was being worked on that hasn't shown anything.
The Kojima game is apparently safe. I think I saw.
That's for now, but I think OD's already, that IP's owned by Kojima, so I think he would just shop that somewhere else, like 505 Games or something like that. Yeah, I think he luckily was smart and bought those IPs back. I think the only one that was Death Stranding was the one he did not own, but he went and bought that back. So, I think everything else now, it's in his company's name. So it all started with the gaming CEO Phil Spencer, sent a memo to his staff about addressing the cuts, claiming job losses were necessary for during the success of Xbox. And then he went on to say they were removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Unfortunately, as it came through, we saw that was a little bit more than that. There was some workforce from the gaming studios that were eliminated. He might, I don't know. I don't have all the. I mean, anybody losing a job is a bad thing. So,
yeah.
So it basically goes into the success of Xbox today as a result of the tough decisions Microsoft made previously, Spencer said. And so they make choices now for continued success in the future. Key part of that strategy is discipline to prioritize the strongest opportunities. We will protect what is thriving, concentrate on efforts of areas with the greatest potential while delivering the expectations that companies have for our business. It's mostly corporate speak, basically goes on and on and on. I mean, it's stuff to answer their stocks, their constituents who own those stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Microsoft, they go in this article, said Microsoft is currently number 2 is the most valued company in the planet, only behind NVIDIA. And we all know why NVIDIA has been shooting up is because their deal to make part of AI data centers is huge. And they've been branching out to multiple regions, providing chipsets for those, especially in the Middle East. So Raven Software, who has been a great development co-studio of Call of Duty, has been affected by the cuts.
They did co-developed Quake 4 as well, right?
Yes.
Back in the day.
They also co-developed Black Ops 6, and they're also the current co-developer for Black Ops 7. And they also have known to work on Warzone. They don't know the exact number. Turn 10 Studios said 50% of their staff was let go. And they said that the studio, I think some rumors were going around saying that they were shying away from Forza Motorsport and then just sticking to Horizon, which is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's been officially confirmed yet.
Getting away from the simulation style and going more towards the arcade. But they also we're helping out with Fable, right? So we might hear something about Fable down the road. We haven't seen anything from that in a while.
But that's Playground Studios. So
wasn't Turn 10 helping with that one?
Yeah, but they split. Remember, Playground's the one I think that split off to two studios because they were
so they're already clear and separated.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean it doesn't save them after Fable's done, but
Yeah.
Then you have Rare took a big hit as well as their game Everwild was canceled, which comes under a lot of criticism because Spencer was saying I played Everwild and the team's doing a great job, and that was like less than 6 months ago. So you'll see more soon. I mean,
now it's gone.
But then again, you work for a corporation, so whoever your boss above you tells you to cut. I mean, it's tough to decide where that comes from. So we won't go into logistics here. But I think what was it? The director of Banjo-Kazooie and Sea of Thieves,
Greg Malaise,
reportedly left the company. So
yeah, after 35 years is leaving after all this.
Like an OG Rare person.
Then you have the new MMO, Blackbird, from Elder Scrolls Online ZeniMax Online Studios, was canceled. And they also let go Matt Furrer, who's been with the company for a long time. I think Todd Howard's the only long-standing person because Paul, Hines has already left. So most of that talent that you got for Bethesda is left. So, and I'm assuming Howard's probably getting close to retirement age. So I doubt he's going anywhere. He's probably going to be there till he retires. And you know how that stuff works out. Then they always go and get the old band back together and make some new company and try to make it magic. Lightning strike happen twice. So, and then the unfortunate news of the Perfect Dark and the Initiative. Perfect Dark has been canceled, as well as Initiative Studios has been closed. So there was a report going around in May 2024 that the game was in rough shape, and it did not look like the trailer was have on there. Some bit of back and forth because some people the systems were there and it could have looked like that. So who knows? We haven't heard any outliers from Crystal Dynamics, who've also had rumors going around that are having difficulties making the
Tomb
Raider game as well. So who knows what's going to happen with Crystal Dynamics? Then you have High Moon Studios. Got also affected by the cuts, according to Charlie Intel.
Is that the Dark Watch people? Remember Dark Watch, that Western shooter for...
They also made the Transformer games on the PS3 and 360. So the ones that are loved, the Cybertron ones.
The good ones.
Also,
the good Transformers games.
Sledgehammer Games has faced layoffs and wider cuts from Microsoft, according to Charlie Intel and Insider Gaming. Blizzard, Warcraft, and Rumble. That's also affected Blizzard. No new content is going to be added for the Warcraft Rumble, and they're said to be shifting some people around and letting some others go. Halo Studios has also affected Halo Studios development team, formerly known as 343. We're working on multiple Halo titles, but no known number. And then Romero Games, who got the game canceling funded, which is believed to be Microsoft, because I think Brenda Romero just said our publisher had canceled funding for our game, along with several other unannounced projects at other studios. She added this was a strategic decision made at a high level with the publishers. We are well above our visibility or control. And as I mentioned earlier, somebody had went on social media and just pretty much said, yeah, it was due to the Xbox layoffs.
Yeah.
So, and that Microsoft was their major publisher.
There was a update to that where it said Romero Games is now completely closed following Microsoft cuts, it's claimed.
No, that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I think we knew that was coming because I think that was like their only thing they were working on. So,
you gonna reunite with John Carmack? Reunite the Johns?
After he spent all those years fighting Bethesda, after they kicked him out of ID, kind of like Patrice DeSales. After he got kicked out of Ubisoft twice. Not even once, twice, because they then went back and acquired his new studio and then fired him again. So, all right.
I laugh,
but that is your news for the week. I mean, some people just are like, like oil and water. I guess it just he was there for like another year, and then I don't think he was happy because remember they kind of ruined his baby, which was Assassin's Creed, and they kind of they kind of pigeonholed him like you're gonna make this or Prince of Persia, and he's like I want to do something different, and all right, you can do that, not here.
I think Jade Raymond left her studio too. I don't think we talked about that in news over the past couple weeks, but Jade Raymond's gone.
I think we did.
We did mention it.
Yeah.
I didn't recall.
And that is your news for this week. So
even following all of that, the founder of and former president of Arcane Studios came out bashing Game Pass, talking about why is nobody talking about the elephant in the room? Cough, Game Pass, and how he thinks that Game Pass is a unsustainable model.
I mean, we
increasingly damn the industry.
Oh.
We kind of know that's he'll jump back on here, folks. We kind of know that's happening because we see Microsoft go into other avenues to increase revenue, right? So that's doesn't happen for a reason,
right?
So Game Pass as a model can work, but you have to have people to buy set games, right, or raise the price of Game Pass. So
this wasn't supposed to be the way. Game Pass was supposed to be a positive. We've heard other stuff like that, right? Like this isn't the first time, but then there's success stories out there.
I think it works well with indies, less known games, and I think it's just a bad spill for AAA games, right? I mean, I think you eventually do like the Sony method. I still to this day say the Sony method's the better one, right? You don't have that stuff day one, and you give it some like a year or so to breathe. It's the same method they have Sony or any other movie studios do, right? They don't do day one digital like they used to, right? You do it in movie theater, then you do rental, then you go to digital, then you go to streaming and physical copy, and then you stagger your revenue. I mean, you're not going to make too many people buy physical copies anymore because they just don't. Mostly enthusiasts like us usually do that, or people who rent them or buy them digitally. It's the same thing. Most people are going to tend to want for streaming, so you put that towards the tail end. So,
GameFly. I wonder if GameFly is a big retail presence still, or as far as like purchasing physical discs to support their platform.
I'm sure they're concerned because they probably see that writing on the wall. I mean, they're probably going to try to have to do something different at some point this generation. So, because I mean, I don't know if we're going to see too many physical copies on the next gen Xbox, right? So,
what does GameFly move to?
I don't know. I mean,
might be in trouble.
It's the same thing as GameStop, right? You got to figure out what the next step is. And GameStop right now they're always like a meme base. They're like, oh, Pokemon cards. We'll grade them and trade them and sell them, right? That's like the hit thing. And then then it'll be fucking Pogs. They'll bring Pogs back somehow. I'm like, oh, we'll grade your Pogs.
Jeez.
Golden Pogs.
So, who knows?
But I don't know. Everybody was so against Xbox in 2013 and that whole Xbox One, and you need to be connected to the internet, and you don't own your games. And
does that still persist? Do you think they're still suffering from that?
Well, I don't know, because they've achieved it. They've achieved it with Game Pass, technically.
Yeah.
Because they want you to buy the service. They do not really do physical releases. When they do, they're not full physical releases. They want you to, they claim, play anywhere, play how you want and everything, unless you want a physical disc and to play offline. We don't do that here.
That's the sacrifice you make, right? If you want that license to copy across from Fire Stick to ROG Ally to whatever else this thing plays, MetaQuest.
Is this, they don't have like a good partner yet, like Limited Run or something like that, where they can print physical copies like that in small batches?
They care. So. We care. Does anybody else care?
I don't think
the demand's there.
Some people have been leaking out some of that conversations where when Satella came over to CEO of Microsoft, he was ready to get rid of Xbox. So they were leaking that stuff where he called Phil in the office and was like, "Hey man, I don't think we should do this anymore." So, and it's like, give me, convince me, basically.
Yeah.
like why we should do this. So
Repitch why we need a gaming presence.
So I mean, this is why they went all in. They're like, because I think that's what I forgot where I read it. Where somebody was breaking down where some of that stuff leaked out. Where I think it was some of the emails from the FTC thing where he like, all right, if we're gonna do, I think we could do it, but we got to go all in. And that's why they were like, oh, go buy Activision. That's why they're talking about going all in and spending all this money and
spend billions of dollars and then cut 9,000 plus jobs. They've cut several thousand jobs.
Yeah, this is like wave 5 or 6
years
recently. Mm-hmm.
So now the unfortunate problem was gaming was hot at that point in time. Now, right now, artificial intelligence is hot. So like they had said that this money they're saving, they're going to reinvest in AI. AI is so freaking popular right now. I mean, Georgia's well positioned because they have a nuclear reactor because they can power those data centers. Most places don't. They can't do that because they build them in these neighborhoods and they eat up power in all these neighborhoods. And you have these type of issues where, you have rolling power outages and stuff like that. And, you just have this unsightly stuff taken in the neighborhood. So it's like, that's the only consequence, right, for AI. So you have to have these huge space, land, and ability to get power. And I mean, they don't have a small way to build these things. So that's typically where they're redirecting a lot of these costs at, unfortunately. And that's the hot thing right now, right? So something else could be happening it's an arms race with AI, is whoever can build the best, fastest tech and can get it out to most people. So charge them a subscription behind it because that's what everybody wants right now. So
Blink as a service, right? AI as a service.
So it's unfortunate. So I mean, we all see this decline in gaming because the cost is going up and the economy is not helping anymore with tariffs. So that's going to continue to raise the costs, take a lot of people out of that market who can purchase games. So that's why you have that stuff that like Game Pass is there, right? So won't be surprised in the next year or so that Microsoft figures out a way to get Game Pass on other consoles, right? I mean, that's the next step. So outside of just trying to figure a way how to get those third-party charges on there, that's always third-party, right? It's what Epic Games has been arguing about Fortnite. It's always the third-party fees.
Who gets that 30% across the sales of the cosmetics and things?
They buy our V-Bucks. It shouldn't be fair that when they redeem it, that they redeem it on Apple, you get a percentage of that. It's like so it's all that messy stuff behind the scenes. So. But this is why you see companies like, Sony going out there. They want gas games with steady income, and they put in other consoles. And so, I think I just read an article. I know we don't talk about anime much, but I just read an article where they said 50% of the Gen Z and the new generation, 50% of them watch anime, and they just said that Netflix and Hulu and Disney is about to go even harder now and try to get
into
even
anime?
More licensed content because it said 50% of the generation now, like Gen Z and the new gen, they saw 50% of what they watch is anime. So like they want more of what Crunchyroll has right now. Crunchyroll has a threshold, and they've been able to fight off High Dive and Hulu and Disney, but now they're getting to the part where Netflix are putting in millions and millions to outbid each other now. So
interesting.
But I mean, that's just the way how of our content's changing. This could be different in 5 years, so who knows? I'm hoping for a day when we always talk about it here. I'm hoping for a day we see more like more AA releases like South of Midnight and stuff like that, and
Mafia the old country.
More of a renaissance back into gaming, kind of like we did with music when we go back to records, and we're getting decent ultra Blu-ray releases from small companies who are putting their heart and soul and stuff like that, and putting as many special features as they can instead of just pooping out a streamable version of it on your streaming service with none of that. So.
Right. I want to see more of and we've talked about this multiple times. Dip into those back catalogs. Give us a Resistance collection. Give us a Sly Cooper collection. Put those out on a disc. Let people buy that. Put it out on Xbox. Nobody's making Sly Cooper games anymore.
Look at Sony. They're doing it, man. You need to buy that copy of Patapon. You need to buy that copy of Hot Shots. You want people a reason why Sony to license that out to other companies? That's your reason. You pay for those games. Other companies like, holy shit, those IPs are great. and then they're not restricting who I can put it on. For now, it's not on Xbox, but that may not last forever. You know what I mean? So.
There is a demo for. I think you bought the full copy. I don't know if Brant has it or not. There's a demo out now for. It's not Soul Sacrifice. What's the one like Soul Sacrifice that I'm thinking of?
Freedom Wars.
Freedom Wars. We need to try that out. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I have a copy of Freedom Wars. I'm waiting on y'all. I have a copy on PlayStation 5. I have a copy on Switch. So.
Did you buy it, Brant?
Bought those the day they came out.
Yet.
Can we try the demo, Cesar, just to see if we all like it?
I'm telling you, I have a copy, so I'm not doing all that. So if you want to play, you can join me. You can demo yourselves.
That was one of the first ones that I feel like that they were doing, where Sony was like, "Hey, we're not doing anything with it. You guys make something." Maybe is that what Xbox pivots to in the case of like the next Perfect Dark, whatever the next Perfect Dark looks like? Or
I think so.
I mean, Fable's got to be on the chopping block too, right?
I think at some point you'll see them maybe Nintendo pulling that Banjo-Kazooie license or something like that and giving it to somebody, or who knows? You either do that or you sell the IP, right? That's the only thing you do. But I doubt they'll sell the IP. I think they'll just have a company come up to like, hey, I noticed you're not making that Perfect Dark game. Like, can I license that and make that?
Yeah. So Fable has sold around 11.5 million copies across all of its iterations. And Perfect Dark as a franchise has sold 4.36 million copies. So less than half. And that includes Perfect Dark on 64, Perfect Dark Zero Fun, and Perfect Dark that was ported the 2010 4J, I think is the studio that did that, and ported that to Xbox Live Arcade. Yeah. I just want to see what those numbers were real quick. Man, but AI is so good for that kind of shit. It's nice.
So that is our news. A little heavy on there, but hopefully we can wrap this up here shortly. So that's
it for news. Going into games played. I've only played what I played with you guys. Last night we streamed. It started off as a Splatoon 3 stream. Friend of the show, Buish, was provided with a copy. Thank you to the provider of the copy of Splatoon 3, so we could all play Splatoon 3. Took us a while to get acclimated, or for them to find what tier of violence we needed to be thrown into. We got our asses handed to us, the first 6 rounds, where we just got clocked. And then, but we were getting better. We got better and better. I think we got worse, and then we ended up winning, 4 in a row? And we were playing Turf Wars. So that is just trying to paint as much of the map as you can. And we started to get the hang of it, really paint our base and start moving up. And it seemed like those first few rounds, we were dying at 45 minutes to a minute left, and we could never recover. They just shifted over. They were taking our part of the map and just destroying us. And I feel like the ones we won, we kind of stayed alive during that, or at least were able to rotate people and get a spawn out there further and start painting more stuff. And I think that ended up helping. What'd you guys think about jumping back into Splatoon Trace for the Nintendo Switch DOS?
It's good, man.
Yeah, I played it a couple times this year. I mean, just getting back into the rhythm is the most important thing.
Definitely looks better and plays better on Switch 2. It's a pretty big improvement. Like I mentioned when we were playing, I feel like it's kind of a mind's eye thing. Oh, this is what this looked like and played like, but I know it wasn't, because there's things like just run around in Inkopolis. Is that the main hub area? Mm-hmm. I can see differences in the textures and the polygons and stuff just in that area that is different from playing it on the original Switch. Because that was our lunchtime game for a couple weeks. I feel like we played it when Brant had the glorious schedules of Mondays off. That was nice. It was nice, Brant. Get them again. Glorious. Let's have a lunchtime game. You guys want to touch on any more Splatoon 3? I had a bunch of credits, so I ended up buying stuff, and I've got to equip new guns and stuff, but I'm definitely more keen to jump back in and make that part of the regular rotation than I would have been. When did we last play it? 2022, I think I read. 3 years ago? Holy shit. It's just kind of one of those time flies type things. it doesn't feel like that long ago. We were calling each other on the phone to do this stupid game.
Doing Discord.
Yeah, well, we did Discord for that, didn't we?
Yep.
Oh God! But now game chat just works. Yeah, I want to play more of that. I'm more likely to play that than Warzone, or I feel like maybe Halo Infinite right now. I think the only thing you could get me on is old man Halo over Splatoon. But the other game we popped in, since we already had the Switch 2 stream set up, is we pivoted to Super Mario Strikers, I think is the name of it in the US of A. And this is the soccer Mario game that released on the GameCube. It's a new addition to Nintendo Switch Online. We joked about playing it last week, and we dove into it with a friend of the show, Buish. It just works. Like, you go to that little online section of the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube portion, and I think I just joined the game from there. Cesar was like, Cesar has a party open. I think you just joined from there, and it was no big deal. Maybe I had to launch the game first. I can't remember what that step was like, but I didn't research it beforehand or look up what to do, and I just fumbled into it, and I ended up in the game. And again, we got our asses handed to us the first couple times, like bad. And that may be the craziest version of Donkey Kong I've ever heard. It's like a Seth Rogen Donkey Kong. It was like when somebody selected him, because I think Cesar was trying to pick the teams, but everybody could hit the cursor. So if you hit the cursor, it's moving around. Like, Cesar has no control. He can't pick anything there. I actually think we all have a chance to move around. But Cesar, you pick the captain and then like the support crew, right? So player 1 is the captain of the team, and then there's a support crew that the rest of the players are. Like, the 3 of us were Toads, and you were you Mario in the first one we played?
Daisy.
You were Daisy, that's right. It was Daisy and the Marios against Donkey Kong and the Birdos. Because Birdo picked up Donkey Kong's fur. It was like a furry brown Birdo. Oh. It was an ugly
turtle.
Turtle. Oh, it was an ugly ass character. It looked like shit. And then I feel like we played better as the Koopas. You made us Mario and the Koopas, right? So I think the Koopas moved better. But then we dove into the controls. We figured out, I think Cess already knew that sprint was like ZR. So we confirmed that in the controls. The heavy deke, like where you really knock them, or the heavy hit instead of just like the light tackle. And so we made some improvements. We still only ended up winning 1 match the whole night. But
I feel like we won a couple.
Maybe 2. 1, maybe 2. I know we won 1 and it just felt like
2. At least 2.
And it felt like fucking championship. We finally crossed that threshold, because I felt like we're playing on rookie difficulty. We're playing it on the easiest level.
Does not feel like it.
Oh my God. When they get open and then like their main character will have like a special built up and they just burn it. They curve it past our fucking crocodile keeper, our Kremlin keeper from Kremlins, or I guess it was a spoof on Soviet terminology, but the Kremlins are those Kremlings are those alligators. But the goalies are the same, right? On each team is just like a generic keeper, but he sucks. You can't really control him unless he gets the ball. And then I think it was always Cesar. It was always player 1 to pitch it out to the rest of the team. And then Cesar, after we finished streaming, it was just you and I on that game chat. And you popped in the new Mario Strikers, and Spike from Mario World, the big guy. Was he one of the Koopalings? Or Spike's that guy that like throws it up in the air and shoots that ball at you, right? He's just a standard enemy.
I mean, because remember, there's no generic characters on there. You have to choose like everybody chooses a established character on 4. Because I think I did Daisy, I did Pauline, Peach.
You get the all-female squad.
Yeah.
Against a bunch of short characters like Shy Rosalina. Guy and you had Rosalina. I can't think of Rosalina without the Mario Kart streamer talking about Rosalina. She was his nemesis on those streams. But that one looks like a solid one too. I had a lot of fun with that GameCube when I was thinking about it this morning, and I watched some of our gameplay back, and I was laughing all over again at that crazy Donkey Kong. Because when you click him, he's like, Donkey Kong. He does this like breathing thing, like he got stepped on. Yeah, like he got stepped on. And then one of our rounds was against Waluigi, and he did the Generation X wrestling thing on us when he won. I was like, Waluigi was like, suck it.
Yeah, Wario was doing like the Val Venus from like WWF, was like that. Hello, ladies.
Yeah.
One from that wrestler did just the pelvic thrusting.
Yeah.
Circles and everything.
Madness. That was so much fun, though. I had a blast with that. Them incorporating these old games with that online element, that's a recipe for success. Give us more of that stuff. And I could see us playing F-Zero again in the future, too. Y'all go back and watch that feed. Like, I know we all enjoyed it in the moment, but I went back and watched it and just... Okay. As we started playing that game and trying to figure out what was happening, and like bombs are going off and red shells are shooting across the pitch, it was just, we're all reacting like, what the fuck was that? I think Brent was like, I just blew up. And it was nonstop hijinks. I was having trouble breathing. I was laughing so hard at that chaos. Oh man, but it was, you could see us start to get the hang of it, and it's just fun. It's 4v4 except for the keepers, and man, it was just chaos. And then one of the rounds went to like a sudden death overtime with no time limit. So we played that for like 3.5 minutes, and we almost won it a couple times. And then I think that was the Waluigi one where he ended up beating us in extra time, like sudden death overtime. That's it for me. Is the games I played with you guys last night. I've been pretty busy, so it hadn't been a whole lot of we're doing like a lot of straightening up and organization and stuff. So
I have nothing to add to what we played last night. I mean, you pretty much covered it all. I haven't really had time to play this week as well, so I'm gonna just pass the ball over to Brant to take us home here.
Brant, bring us home. Short show.
Oh,
Brant's like strapped in for the next 45 minutes.
I'll start off real quick with these games acquired.
Yeah,
because I did go to a thrift store today.
Those were from a thrift store.
Yes.
Have you been there and seen games before?
Yeah, that was the last time I was there. I found the was it the Kingdom Hearts 3 or Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days Brady guides. They still had the Brady guide for God of War, Ghost of Sparta, and God of War 3. I think they still had that Tomb Raider guide there as well.
Damn, they're all still just hanging out there? Nobody's after those?
They had a bunch of Game Informer, too.
How much they want for those Game Informers?
Oh, I don't remember.
What era is it? PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One?
I looked at a couple of them. I think there was one that had a resistance on there.
Ooh.
There was one that had a Halo cover. I don't remember which. I didn't look through and actually thumb through the pages of each one to see or see the dates on them or anything.
Yeah.
But I picked up some games. All of them were under $10.
Games acquired.
First up, we have for the PS3, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands.
Who developed that one? Was that one of the Ubisoft, like Shanghai or Montreal or one of those?
It just says Ubisoft. I don't know.
What's the title of that one? Forgotten Sands?
Forgotten Sands.
For the PS3.
Trying to skim through. Yeah, I'm not really seeing.
Yeah, it just says Ubisoft.
I'm not seeing anything other than just regular Ubisoft Entertainment.
That was the last release of Prince of Persia until Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown in early 2024, the game that you and Cesar both loved. I played the demo a pretty good bit. Yeah, it's in the Sands of Time continuity.
Up next, I got the original Fable for the original Xbox.
Which I think is the harder one to find. So when that one came out, it was only in store shelves for like 6 months or so. That I remember. I may be wrong on this, but from what I recall, It was immediately replaced with that Lost Chapters. Like that came out so much faster it launched alongside the PC one, I want to say. So we had the PC version of Lost Chapters, and that Xbox Platinum Hits Fable Lost Chapters came out around the same time. It was fast, and that became, of course, the version that they would end up releasing or reprinting and sending out to retailers.
So this is up next. I have the Borderlands, the Handsome Collection.
We've been talking about Borderlands.
So I know Cesar had been talking about picking up on some Borderlands and playing through it a little bit. It's got some online up to 4-player co-op. So this might be one to start playing with Cesar. And I know you were talking about possibly getting it too if you didn't already.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some Borderlands, especially if it's like drop in, drop out co-op. I wouldn't want to keep you guys up if you were gonna.
I mean, hey, you can transfer your PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita saves and pick up where you left off. It's got some transferring.
Do I have my Vita saves ready to go for Handsome Collection? Borderlands dose.
And then moving on to the Nintendo Switch, I may have to get that Mario Strikers. But I picked up Pikmin 4.
Did you get that on sale this week? I think it's $40 at Target and Walmart. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good pickup.
And then next, I'll show you this game. Tell me if you've heard of it. It's called Road Redemption.
Is that
Take a look at that
PS3 game?
No, I don't
I'm thinking about something else. That's like Ride to Hell Retribution. I'm thinking about something else.
No, Ride to Hell.
I don't know what this is.
Something completely different. Just look at that and tell me what you think that game, what it kind of looks like to you.
Shit. What's that EA franchise?
That was on
Genesis.
Sega CD, was on Genesis, was on 3DO.
Oh, I'm swinging and missing. This is an
Road
EA
Rash.
joint. Road
Rash.
Rash. Trip Hawkins joint.
Go.
Is that what that game is?
This game is like an actual modern Road Rash.
Awesome.
I've heard really, really good things about it. It only shows like up to 2-player co-op, but I saw a little bit more on this game, and I was like, you know what? I really do like Road Rash. I remember that Sega CD version. That's the one that actually had a bunch of Soundgarden in the.
That's right.
In the tracks, you just raced listening to Soundgarden, Rusty Cage, and everything.
What's the name of this game you got? Road
Redemption.
Road Redemption. Red Dead Road Redemption. Brent, this is $2.99 on Steam if you wanted to pick it up, and I already have it in my Steam library somehow.
It's usually pretty cheap.
Very positive feedback. This looks good.
Yeah, I know, right? I watched some gameplay, watched some people talk about. I'm like, I'm sold. This looks like old school Road Rash.
All right, guys. On Steam, it's full 4-player co-op split screen. I'm not sure about the Switch version. That would be pure chaos.
Yes. So
good
that
pickups.
one we gotta get Buish in on there eventually.
Just start sending him Steam games.
Steam games, nonstop.
Did y'all send him Left 4 Dead when I was like flood him with Left 4 Dead? Did you?
I did not.
Because he sent back, he was like, joke's on you. I got it first time you guys sent it, so I didn't know if anybody sent the link to him or not.
No.
It was just me. Joke's on you. I like it.
And then actually in games played those games with y'all last night, and then I finished up because I really was maybe 30 minutes from the end of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Yeah. And the game ends with, you and your modern day crew finding the Apple of Eden, which you were looking for, but as soon as Desmond lays his hand on it, he's like possessed by like overtaken by the power of it, basically. And he winds up stabbing and unaliving one of the other characters, which was kind of it was a shock at the time.
A main character?
Yes, one of the other characters that's been with you the whole time.
Ooh.
And then that's the game. Like he like faints after doing that, and then you just hear them talking and the other characters talking, and you at the credits roll, and that's the game. So Revelation, Assassin's Creed Revelation picks up right after, and apparently the Apple like fried your mind, and to kind of save you, they just kind of put you in the Animus to kind of, I guess, keep your memories and everything intact. And so,
as Desmond, this is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Desmond's in there. He can hear them. He can hear what's going on. There was this other test subject that you learned about in the past 2 games. They called him 16, but he was in there. He was in the Animus so long. The Templars had used him so much, and he stayed in there so long, it warped his mind, and he eventually went crazy, and died. Well, his consciousness is like stuck in the program now. So you meet him, and he kind of tells you, he's like, he's a little out there, but he's like, you have to go through and relive these fragmented memories, these last memories from your ancestors, and kind of wrap it up, because you haven't, there's still stuff you just haven't seen from your ancestors, and once you relive everything, then you should be good to go. And so most of the game is you're reliving the portions of Ezio, now much older. He returned to the Assassin's Fortress Masyaf from the first game, in order to retrieve some knowledge, I guess, that Altair had left, only to find that Templars have taken control of the whole place. I'll have to send you the opening cutscene, because I remember it being part of the like the selling points, part of the advertising for this game. It looks so damn good, and it's such a good
even now
like cutscene, and Ezio was such a badass. Even in his old age, and he's such a cool character. So basically, you go through, you kill the like head of the Templars and everything over there. After you find there was a door that hides the knowledge that they're trying to get into. There's
or where he expected it to be.
Yeah, there's 5 keys. They found one, and the other 4 are, off in, I think it was Istanbul, Constantinople. So you go to track them down, which you wind up going through like these different set pieces that remind me like so much other stuff at the time, like your Uncharted's and stuff like that, where just giant set pieces where you're crawling across these giant arches in this cave, or you're doing this big running scene running after.
Just super cinematic presentation.
It's so good. It was the polish, or the overall, where kind of how they built it up into this big thing.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing is some of the mechanics, like they've changed like how your health bar appears. It's definitely a lot more generic. You do a lot more of the same things. You still have to, now that you're in Istanbul, you're helping the assassins there kind of reclaim their city from the Ottomans. There was this, thankfully it was only one portion. I think you can like do other like you can it's like a optional thing to where if you want to do it more, you can choose to do those little side pieces, but I did not like it. There was a weird like tower defense kind of thing. And literally it was one part of the game where you had to split off and you're just standing on a roof and you have a certain number of points and you can place, some archers on this roof and some gunmen on this roof. And then you wait for the wave to come and then they shoot them and then you get more points and then you can place more stuff. And I was like, oh, please. But thankfully it was like that one section you have to do and it's relatively easy.
I'm not good at those modes. I have to play those multiplayer.
After that, I was like, I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
Please don't make me do that again. And thankfully it doesn't make you. But I have gone through, and after you find a key, the keys kind of look like CDs. Like they're glowing. They have these weird symbols on them, kind of like the Apple does.
So they're Xbox Series X discs.
Yes. So after you have taken the keys, Ezio goes and kind of inspects them, and they contain memories from Altair's life. And so then you play as Altair through those select memories as well. So I've collected all 4 keys that I could, and now I'm I can't remember the place now, but I've went to this fortress that's kind of like hidden in these caves. It's this small city where this last person is, where it supposedly has the last key that I need to reclaim. So again, probably within 45 minutes to an hour of finishing this game as well.
Damn, you're plowing through these old Assassin's Creed games.
Right?
You were just craving it.
But I knew Brotherhood wasn't super long, and I knew Revelations wasn't very long either. So, but they're good games, man. They're solid games.
I think there was no knock on them outside of this was just like the annual release of Assassin's Creed at that point, right?
Yeah.
And now we go forever without them. Like, I think we all supported Mirage when it came out to show that we wanted that sort of Assassin's Creed again.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Shadows.
Yeah. Has anybody messed around with that one?
I have not yet.
I don't own it.
It's like Ubisoft thing. Once it'll drop to about $20.
I'm always hesitant. They're trying to get me on Star Wars Outlaws. That keeps getting... The Series X disc is like $20 at Walmart, and I want to try it really fucking bad. But there's a demo out. I'll just play the demo and see what I think.
Let's say a disc that's got probably nothing on it.
Nope. Just an unlock.
I've heard mixed things. Like it's like a very open world game.
Yeah. We got massively improved. There was like instant fail states on stealth and stuff that they got rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like Richard. I've heard nothing but great things after all the improvements. That is actually a very good game.
They're all over how great it is, like a hidden masterpiece. I'm like,
yeah, because I remember hearing about that with the jank and some of the missions and whatnot, and I was like, what the hell's the point?
Yeah, Massive got to work. They fixed that shit.
I'm sure it'll end up on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus at some point because they do have deals with Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
So if you wait long enough, it'll be there.
But that's it for me.
That's it for us. Quick show. Great Sunday night show. You guys got anything else you want to throw in there before we get out of here? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.